Hey everybody, we are live. All I've got to do is find us on Facebook so I can see your questions. Oh, there we are. How is everybody today? Coming to you from beautiful Eagle Mountain Lake yet again and forever and always, hopefully. Um, so let's see. I see a hey cuz. Hey Barb. How are you, girl? Love you, girl. Um, how is everybody? So, if you click the link above and then click back in, Facebook will see who you are. So nice to see my cousin from Colorado on. I have Greg and Edie and Jill and Cindy. Hey, Jill. Hey, message me. I have an update on Dean McRae. But that's all I'm going to say here. Love you too, Barb. Call your Aunt Judy. Call your auntie. She has her phone. Hey, Susan. So, welcome. Tonight, we've had requests for the dual drapes, this, and in this case, the singles, um, to help, good girl, Barb, to do help with the top edge and getting the form out. We have been working on a pin or to be able to pull the dual drapes out, but there's also other easy ways to do it that I'm going to show you. One I just played with today, so it'll be kind of fun. Hey, Diane. Good afternoon from Wyoming. So, where is everybody from? Go ahead and put that in the comments. Hey, Melissa. And let me know where everybody is. Melissa, I know where you're from, but everybody else might not. Edie, where are you from? Hey, Greg, where are you from? I, as you know, am in Texas. Texas is the land of the weather, can be raining outside my door on one side and not on the other side. So we also have Louisiana in the house. Hello, Louisiana. Southwest Florida. Oh, Greg. So we have several users. You know, I used to be in computers and I dealt with users. I'm so sorry. Um, we have several members that are in Florida. Jill's hanging out in Kansas. Yeah, Jill, when we have weather, it usually comes your way, doesn't it? You are no stranger either to the tornadoes. So last week before, whatever it was when I posted those storms, we ended up with, in our local area, very, very, very close by, it spawned 10 tornadoes. And then down South Texas, it spawned 5. If you want to see something really fun, do a Google search for the red truck in the tornado in Texas. It was a kid, a 16-year-old kid in his red truck. This was in South Texas, coming home from a job interview at Whataburger, was driving home and got caught in the tornado, and the storm catcher actually caught a video of his truck being taken up, spun around, landed on its side, spun around, flipped back on its wheels, and the kid took off in his truck. Well, his truck was totaled, but there were 2 car lot companies here in Fort Worth area that gave him a new truck because his truck was totaled, I guess for riding out the tornado. How scary was that? I wouldn't have been able to drive away because I'd have been too busy having a heart attack. Anyway, Texas weather, Kansas weather. Lots of you all have those tornadoes. Let's see. If anybody else is on from Alabama, I would say raise your hand, but put it in the chat because Cindy Orvet lives in Alabama and would like to find a another member. Hi, Aunt Connie. My aunt just jumped on. That would be the mother to the cousin that was just on. Must be family night. Okay, so with that, where are we at? Oh, 5:35. Okay, so again, today we are going to do just a round dual drape single minimalist form. These make the beautiful, this one that I have here is actually the solar eclipse, but what we're going to do is make a straight edged round. That's that minimalist look that everybody loves. I have seen lots of people posting. Our 4-piece set makes the dinnerware set. Hi, Aunt Connie. I've seen several people posting these and making beautiful sets. So I'm just going to show you tonight. I am not going to texture it. I'm not going to do anything to it. It's just going to be clay. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to get a beautiful top rim. Several ways you can do that. And then I know that most of you on here, your storms, bugs, and snakes are why I live in Wyoming. We do have some bugs and some storms and some snakes. That's for sure. But I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for the rims, several different styles. Depending on what you like, you can pick to get a more polished finish. And then I know that Mr. Wilson is watching on the big screen TV. I'm flying solo. So, oh, well, yeah. So I'm going to show you that in first video, and then we'll talk about it just a little more. Okay, we are going to get our clay ready. This is, 1/4-inch thick B-mix. And what I'm going to do is compress. So I'm going to take my yellow red and compress this like we do every time. Oh, my stool about fell out from under me. And I'm not pressing hard. I'm just letting it kind of flow across the top here. Picking that. If you have a canvas texture, you'll be taking that out. I'll be showing you how I do my clay on my slab roller here in the next few times because I do it a little different. Now I'm going to very easily pick my clay up and flip it so I can get this backside. Get this all nice and pretty. Take your time, do a good job. It will save you lots of stress in the long run. There we have it. All right, we have our clay ready. Whoops, the camera's a little crooked. There we go. There we have our clay ready. Now on to our project. Before our project, I want to say hello, Michael, from your cruising fun day. Because I can't say where you said you were cruising from, but hey, Melody popped on. Melody, if I remember correctly, you are from Kansas also, aren't you? Kansas, Missouri, somewhere close to Jill. Hey, Carla. I want to give a special thank you to Carla. Look what I got. Carla sent me a sweatshirt from Jekyll Island Arts Festival, the art festival that she attends. I love it. I love it. I have it right here for my windy evenings down here at the lake. And let's see. Kat is watching. Patricia, you finally found us. Awesome, awesome. Ash Grove, Missouri. Okay, Melody. I couldn't remember if it was Missouri or Kansas, but y'all are pretty close. Y'all get the weather that we send your way when we get done with it, I'm sure. Um, yes, Carla, I love it. I was very surprised, but I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. All right. So I had to do my token little you gotta compress your clay video, but let's go on to shaping from 4 hours from Kansas City. You know, I'm from there. I'm from Kansas City, Kansas. I was born at KU. Um, and my grandma was in Independence, Missouri. All right, let's go on to the second video. Hey, Charlotte, Rhonda. Okay, we are back. I'm going to show you with my 9.5 inch, whoops, where are we? My 9.5 inch form, rolling round, single dual drape with a 10 inch template, lip template. And I do have a reject pen that's super, super short. So I'm gonna work hard to get this where it needs to go in the back of this. Where's my hole? I'm gonna have to do this from the back side because it's a short pen. So I'm gonna have to finesse it some. Okay, what I did was actually set it down on here and pushed it. Now I'm gonna push it into this hole. Okay, now if you see, I got to run in my pantyhose. So I actually did put a pair of pantyhose, knee highs, around this to see if that will help pull it out for you. Move this out of my way. Make sure I'm on. I am on. Okay, so banding wheel system, lip template. These just have a barely little tiny lip on them. And, oh, I guess I'm not in that. There we go. Little tiny lip on this so that we can just cut that off either to give us a teeny tiny edge or to be able to roll it down and then cut it to make a perfect edge for our minimalist plates. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go grab my clay. Now, if you have a good sized piece of clay that will fit around the whole thing, it's gonna make it so much easier. Let me grab my clay. I'll go get it, be right back. Okay, here I come with my clay. It's a good sized piece of clay to fit the whole thing. So I'm gonna take this and put it across the whole thing, just like that. Nice and smooth. Scoot this over a little bit. There we go. Get my chair back. Okay, now, as usual, I'm gonna smooth the top. I definitely want the top flat. This is gonna be a minimalist dish, so I am not gonna put a bottom on it. So I want it flat. I have no texture on this because this dish is going to be all about the glaze. All about that glaze, that glaze. All right. Who did I steal that from? Okay, now I'm going to take my red rib and I'm just going to lightly go around the top. I'm just kind of bringing that in. You have to just kind of take your time with these, but the results are so worth it. You get no lines, you get a beautiful rounded bottom, you get a beautiful minimalist look. Or you could put a rim template underneath it and have a beautiful plate as well with a rounded bottom. All right, here we go. Coming around. Okay, now I'm going to take my yellow rib. I'm going to wipe it off good. And I'm going to come around and just bring this up and under to my template. Bring it up and under here. And I'm poking out here with my edge, but that's okay because we're cutting that off anyway. So that doesn't really matter. And you'll see when you're back to where you started. And once you come around, you can go another time to really press it in if you want to find that template. These templates don't stick out very far. These are teeny tiny lip templates just to make this nice and round, or to be able to get your clay up under there. All right, let me come over here. I'm going to get this under just a little more. So I'm looking and I'm saying, oh, I want it under just a little more. We're going to fix the edge when we're all done anyway. There we go. So now I'm going to take my needle tool, and again, I'm going to actually just kind of come around a little bit, make sure I'm outside the template, and I'm just getting rid of a bunch of this excess clay. I want that out of my way, and that's all I'm doing there. And I'm just going to lay that aside for now. Now, again, I'm going to come in. This sticks out a little. If I go straight up, I'm going to cut into that side. So I'm just going to come in and just kind of go under for now, or the slight angle to feel that template. Because again, this one we don't want a rim on. Take that off. And I don't know what I did there. Now I'm going to come back, and I'm going to kind of come back in at an angle, see what I'm doing on the sides to kind of take that excess off. Kind of take a little of that excess, little bally pieces. All right, now I'm going to take my sponge, and if you look at the side of yours, you'll see where that template is. I'm going to take my sponge and just kind of come around and get those crumbs off. Get that little ball with pieces out of there because I don't want to get that in my clay. So I'm just wiping those off onto the table. Okay. Now, take my red rib, clean it off real good, and just kind of come around and press this in. Not super tight, just enough to make it go straight. Then get the top. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to go set this aside, let the sides stiffen up, then we'll work the top. And I have some little tips and tricks for you on the top to give it a gorgeous, gorgeous professional finished look. These minimalist dishes are well worth the effort. Okay, so that so far is not really anything new that you haven't seen already. Put your template, put your form, Throw your clay over the top, rib it down, and cut around the template. Pretty much what we've always done. But you're going to get the real tips and tricks in this next video. However, before we do that, I wanted to say, let's see. Hello everyone, got my 2 pins today, beautifully designed, worth the wait. Oh, thank you so much. And speaking of worth the wait, let me explain to you all. First off, we are almost caught back up. I did that pin sale the end of February because I had ordered my other machine and it was supposed to be here. Right after the pin sale, they called and said, or they emailed and said, oh, sorry, you're not getting your machine until mid-April because we can't get our parts due to COVID. So 24/7, day and night, running pins, because you can only do one in about an hour because that's how long they take. So that was heck. Machine finally arrived today. So, hey, Rachel, machine finally arrived today. Now that we're done with the sale part, so maybe we'll run another one because now we can keep up. The other thing I was going to say is thank you all for your patience. Because in addition to that, my mom's been in the hospital 3 weeks on one stent, just got back out from another weekend, and that's really put us behind. Hopefully she's on the mend now and doing better, and all the drama's over and life will be better. So let's look at this next video because these are the tips that really make your minimalist dishes stand out. And then we'll talk about those afterwards. I was going to ask, so also when I flip this next dish and you see where I go with the top edge, I want you to be thinking about, do you want the lip templates to be itty bitty like I did in this, where you just have a barely top edge that you cut off? Or would you like it more of a 1/4 inch where you can still stand it up straight and cut that top edge off, or you could leave it and have a little bitty outside edge on it? So be thinking about that while you're watching these tips and tricks, because either will actually work. So here we go. Okay, so I have this back. It's probably stiffened up enough just to show you this part. I'm just going to stick a template. You can put a wear board or whatever. And I'm going to flip this over. I actually put it on another template because I wanted to look at how easily that popped out. It just come right out. I don't want it out though. Okay, so with that nylon on there, I could actually just lift this right out, but I don't want to do that yet. What I want to do is take this and see where I cut it a little uneven, and that's fine. I want to take my wire or my U-bolt or even a knife, or even, you could even do this with a needle tool. I prefer the wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my wire on top of this, and I'm going to press the wall to the side while I come straight around on this. And again, I'm pushing the wall up so that I'm going to have a smooth it's a little harder to do through the nylon. And I stuck the side in it, but that's okay, I'll fix that. Okay. So I'm going to come around. It's not as easy with the nylon on, but that's, ouch, okay. Take off when I need to. Make sure you push that up. Look at that. Now look at that edge, how nice and smooth that is. I did stick my my tool into the side over here. So I'm going to lightly fix that, and the sponge is going to fix that as well. Now, you see how wobbly that is. That's still too loose to really pull that out, but I could if I, and don't press your fingers in, you'll get dents in your rim. I'm just pressing like this with my balls of my hands. Now, I could, now that I have this all pressed up in here, I could actually pull this out right now. And if I pull it out this early, that's gonna pop right out. Now, if you pop it out this early, if you very gently make sure it's standing straight up or whatever angle you want it, I would then go let this set up a little more. But see how close that rim is already? And then we're going to even do more to it in a minute. When it sets a little, I'm just pulling this in just a hair. You could have let this set just a little longer. Okay, and this is all it took off. I'm going to go let this set just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to finish that edge. Okay, this, my friends, I gotta see. So, Mr. Bears, when you start wearing your pantyhose to do clay, post a picture. I think we all want to see that. Jen Kander says, I know I used it on the vase form this weekend and it was magic. Somebody said, I missed the nylon trick. Oh, that was Rachel. Rachel, when you're using your vase form, stick it in a knee-high nylon, and then when you go to pull it out, you just pull the nylon and it just goes poof, right out. So, let me, oh, wait, where'd you go? I missed the nylon trick because I had to pull that back off. Okay, so a couple of those tips were, you can stick that in a nylon. Now, that was a 9.5-inch form. If it's, and those were the super size. I will tell you, knee highs are hard to find. I guess people don't wear them anymore very often. I had to go search to buy some. And since I was going to buy some, I bought the super biggest size I could find, thinking I want to fit it around a bigger form. So if you go buy some, get the biggest you can find. That's tip number one. We are creating a pull tool for the single dual drapes, but since we didn't have that yet, I stuck it in a nylon just to see if it would work. Greg, if you're still on, couple of things to notice. My clay wasn't super stiff. It was still a little wobbly because once it gets super stiff and sucks into that form, it is harder to get the forms out. So you want it a little more wobbly, and then pull after you've cut off that excess edge, then pull your form out, just slightly straighten it and set it aside for a little bit. You could actually even take a smaller round and kind of sit in the bottom of it just so it doesn't warp, and it shouldn't that fast anyway, and let it set up a bit. Okay, Greg, you are on. Okay, so now watch the tips on fixing that top edge, which come in this next video. What time are we at? Almost 6 o'clock. Let's watch this one. Okay, I have made a mess. Okay, let me clean this mess up a hair. Now, what I want to show you is this. Remember we cut that nice and made it nice and better. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and that's okay because we are going to make it perfect before we're said and done. So what I'm going to do is this. First, I'm going to start with my sponge. I'm going to wet my sponge. Make sure I turned this on. Did I turn this on? I did. And I'm going to come around and I'm just going to wet the top of this. Let me show you. It's not super floppy, but it's not stiff and hard. I'm going to wet this. because I want to get it a little soft on the top for what we're going to do. Also, depending on where you want it, now would be the time to maybe shape it if you wanted it a little more up. Although we'll probably do it again. Okay, now what kind of top, what kind of edge do you want? You can take your little rib and just bend it and right around here and flatten this out. I'm not pressing very hard. I'm going very lightly because I'd rather go down around several times slowly and without a lot of pressure than smush it. All right. So now I can come around with my sponge and almost call that good. Now I'm not going to perfect that because I'm going to do something different. But you can continue going around like that to perfect it. And where you have little unevenness, you can take your rib with your finger inside and just kind of come around. That'll stand that up. That'll even that edge. Move my sponge. That'll even that edge. And just barely doing it, and just go around multiple times if you need to. Don't try to rush it. Look at what it's doing. You go back with your sponge. See how much better that looks? There's that. And again, you can do it a lot better, but I'm not perfecting it. What I like to do is take my rib tool that I've cut, wet it, and I like to lay it, not up and down, but lay it sideways and bring this around because this is going to even it to the same thickness. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this at all. I'm just going around, letting it ride, and see it, that's all I took off. And I'll do this multiple times until I get it nice and round. I'm going to wet it in between time. All right, I'm going to do it again. Took a little more off that time. The reason a little more came off that time is because the top of the clay is now getting a little more moist, and that's kind of the slip I'm building at. So now I'm going to go back with my sponge. I'm pinching it. And see how most of this lines are gone and it's nice and rounded, but we need to do it just a couple more times. Okay, so it's nice and wet. Sometimes I take my sponge and press up against the side and just, I can even put my little finger out here just to keep it even, or lay against the board just to make sure you're pressing with equal pressure to get your sides round. And then I'm going to wet my rib, and I'm going to go back around again at an angle, and I will be getting pretty much all those lines out on this pass. Now I see how much it took that time. I also see right here there's a little dent, so I'm going to come in, I'm going to flatten a little bit, and then come back in clean my rib, and I'm going to come back through with my rib very gently on that so that it brings that. See how it rides now? There you have it. Now, take your sponge. And look how pretty. Look how pretty that edge is. It's kind of hard to tell in this light, but it's super pretty, super even, nice and rounded, and you have that beautiful minimalist look that everybody is raving about. You can also put your hand on the outside, take your round of your rib, and kind of come in. If you feel like your rib or your edge is not quite even everywhere, and I can take some of this off to make this edge more even. See what I took off there? Now I'm just going to come back with my sponge. Now that just made my edge like pretty symmetrical all the way around. Now that's all that I'm going to do to this. That's all I'm going to do to this. Well, except I may take my straight edge, come right here at an angle, and just slightly push that around so that my sides, because I was messing with them, are standing pretty straight up. So I get down around where I started, which is right there. And that's a little piece of crumb, little piece of crumb. They'll wipe off afterwards, but I like to get them off. And that's it. Look at that. There you have it. Okay, so what I really wanted to show you today was, you've all seen, flop the clay over the form, cut around it, sponge it a little bit, and call it good. On these minimalist forms, I just think it's important to show you how to polish those tops a little more so they look a little more polished and finished. And you can use that same, where is it at? You can use this same thing even if you have a texture on there, because what it will do is it will give you a nice clean line. It'll remove that texture with a nice, gorgeous, clean line. The other thing is, let's say you've used a stroke and coat. Maybe you used a stencil in the bottom and you put stroke and coat all around. Now I love to use stroke and coat on my green clay and then bisque fire it, because it bisque fires gorgeously. But if you have glaze all around the top, this is an example. So if you had glaze all the way up to the top and then you brought this around, it's going to give you a beautiful, almost perfect line where it will remove that glaze and give you a beautiful edge without it. So that's another good reason for these. Let's see. I had a couple. So the bottom line to this is, when you're using the drapes, the dual drape, the single forms, so you don't want to have to dig in and mess up your sides, don't wait until they're really stiff, number one, because it'll suck into that form a little bit. But if they're a little bit loose, you could either use the nylon. We are creating a tool, and or you can kind of go in with your finger and get them out. And you now see, if you put a couple of little dings in that side edge, you now have all of the tools available to you to fix that, and you will never ever see it. So I hope that helps. Let's see, what was the question? The rib, which is cut in half, is it a soft or a harder one? So It's a harder one. In fact, it's pretty much, okay, so here's the yellow rib. Everybody knows the yellow rib and the red rib. Now you can do any of them. You can really do any of them. I use these two so much that I didn't want to, I was being stingy. I didn't want to cut them. And I had a green one that I've had forever and ever and ever. And it's pretty hard. I think it's harder. In fact, it is harder. And it says this is a green medium, Cheryl Mud Tools green medium. The red would probably even work even that much better, but I didn't want to cut my red ribs. But it is a green medium and it's actually harder than the yellow. What I did though is when it's cut, take a little sandpaper and kind of sandpaper these little edges so they're not sharp, so that when you do write it around, again, not straight up, but if you write it around like this, you won't poke. So you can use any of them, whichever you prefer, whichever one you choose to cut. The red has a bigger hole, which might work even, you know what? In moving the studio down here, I found a whole bunch of these. I will cut a red one just for y'all. I will cut a red one and show you using it because I'm pretty sure it's going to work really well too. Really well also. Let's see, what else? Dual drape forms. Let's see, the only thing about the suction cup, Greg, is that because there is a hole in that and because it is slightly porous, it may not hold. Be sure and let us know if that did work or not. Be sure and let me know. That would be interesting. In fact, I have a bunch. We used to do windows, and I have a bunch of little round ones that connect up and would suction, but the porous material of this with the clay on it, I'd be afraid it would drop off. Let us know. That's a great idea. The lip templates aren't on the site. I will put them on tomorrow. 1/4 inch or more of the 1/8 inch. Do you want them little? Okay, so let me explain. So if it's out just that little tiny bit, you see how I cut that off. But if I go more to the 1/8 inch, I mean the 1/4 inch, let me go grab something just real quick. Okay. We're running just a hair over, but that's okay. This is important. Last week, when I did this, see this little edge? Let me do it this way. See how it's got that little edge? And instead of it standing straight up like instead of it standing straight up like this, see how that's straight up? This has this little 1/4 inch. Let me put this on here. It's flat. See that? About that much. It's flat. That's what a 1/4 inch template will do. Now, you can still, once you let it set up some, you can still then stand that up and then cut that excess off if you want that straight up minimalist look. If you choose to keep a lip, the 1/4 inch template is going to give you both choices. The 1/8 inch, you're going to still want to cut that top edge off, but then you really wouldn't get enough good lip to really give you any kind of lip. I also wanted to show you, look at this. Just because I saw it over there. This has a little tiny edge as well. I stuck my finger in it, but you know I'll get that taken out of there. Um, this was just playing around and stacking a 3 deep and a 2 deep of the solar and using the farmhouse template on the top. So this thing is, look how tall this is, and look at the inside. Now, wouldn't this make an awesome table centerpiece with fruit or floral display, all kinds of stuff? And so you can stack with these because they're rounded, all kinds of things. But it was simply the solar 3 deep on the bottom. This one was a 3 deep, and this one was a 2 deep. And this is what I got. So if you have punch bowl, very nice, yes. So if you have a different sizes, different shapes, try stacking them because of the way they're rounded on the top. Try stacking them and see what kind of fun things you can come up with. You can do anything with these forms. And so who said, wow, what form is that? What form? They're just solar forms. I stacked them. Quarter inch. Please put your comments in and I'll go back and see quarter inch, 8 inch, 1/8 inch, and come to a happy medium, because I don't think it's really advantageous to do both up there personally. Tasmania, Diane, hi. Okay, so that is it for today. I will tell you that if y'all know that right after this, we go to my Slab to Fab Society, which is my membership group, my paid membership group. We've been going about 7-8 months now. And I've been mentioning that we would be opening it soon. And a lot of people have signed up on the wait list. If you were on the wait list, you may have gotten an email that said, hey, you could join. And that's just to the people that were on the wait list that were interested in joining, and we did send them an email. If you were on the wait list and you did sign up, you should have gotten an email right after that, follow-up that said access would happen on Saturday with a live intro from me. So Saturday is when you will see your access happen. And anybody else that's interested that wasn't on the wait list, that's interested in joining the society, info@Sharon Hoppe Designs, send me an email or go hit and join the wait list real quick. Because we want to stay small. We have a great group. We want to stay small, drama-free. So if you're interested, join the wait list, and or if not, we will be keeping this group, and you're always welcome here. And this is a free group. The projects are smaller, but it's still a lot of information. So those of you in my Slab to Fab Society, 10 minutes, and I will see you there. Bye-bye.